What's up? What's up? What's up? This is your girl Yuta K Best, and you are watching and or listening to Hello Random Radio, where positive energy lives. Thank you so much for your time and attention. My illustrious guest today is it Mikhael?
Yep, it's Mikhael, and also go by Mikhael for short, but Mikhael is the right pronunciation.
Okay, awesome. That's how I've been saying it, but I was like, you know what? We haven't even talked about that. So, Mikhael Magic Garvey Ali, thank you so much for being here.
Thanks. I appreciate the invite and for the positive energy. Yes.
Of course, of course. And I wasn't going to start on this level, but I am going to now. I would like to know if that's your given name.
Oh, you know what? My given birth name is Michael. Michael
Okay.
is my given birth name, but when I was younger, I really didn't like favor my name too much. I'm like, it's the most common name. Everybody's Michael, but as I got older and more on my spiritual path, I started hearing a lot of prophecies and a lot of different like deep spiritual information about the name Michael, about how Michael was like the archangel, that who was like God, who was like the leader of the archangels to help uplift the planet and the consciousness of the earth. So when I heard it, I was like, wow, that's a deep one, and I just started diving more deep into that, and learned out that Mikhael is the original name you pronounce Michael from the Ethiopian or Arabic or even African different traditions. So I was like, okay, well, now that I know the real name to pronounce it, I'm gonna rock with that. And it seemed very unique. And ever since then, I've been in alignment. So yeah, I give thanks for my name and my title.
Dope. And what about Garvey?
You know what? Garvey is part of the title that I took off the teachings and, mission of Marcus Garvey. You know what I'm saying? Marcus Garvey
Yeah.
had a heavy mission on the planet to liberate our people around all the African diasporas. Um, yeah, and I feel that same way in my heart. Yeah, I definitely want to help liberate our people globally. I want to see a lot of our people get back to Africa, get back to our indigenous lands. And yeah, I just took that title to go along with the Mikhael and the Ali. Comes from the teachings of Noble Drew Ali.
Okay.
I started early on my path. I was highly into the more science temple and teachings, and just Noble Drew Ali, what his impact was out here in the North Americas, helping to liberate a lot of our people mentally, teaching people about sovereignty, teaching people about nationality. And I feel like that's all still relevant right now to this day. A lot of us are still trying to claim our nationality, our birthright. And so, those two archetypes are something that I really resonate with, bringing our people back around the African diaspora, and also liberating our people for our sovereignty. So yeah, those two titles that resonate with me.
That's dope. And I saw a post on your Facebook yesterday that I think was talking about a queen, maybe Dr. Zaza.
Oh yeah, yeah. Give thanks to Queen, yeah, Mother Dr. Zaza Ali. Dr. Zaza Ali is from Oakland, California. She is a Pan Africanist and a nationalist for our people on the same path and purpose. Liberating our people globally, raising consciousness and spirituality, especially for the divine feminine energy and for the melanated women in America. So when I first got on my path, like in 2012, 2013, I started diving heavy in a lot of information from good brother Professor Griff. And Professor Griff at that
Yeah.
really hard, dropping a lot of information, waking a lot of people up. And he actually came out to Oakland. And when he came, he was with Zaza Ali. And at that time, I never met her. I have seen her teachings and definitely was getting a lot of information from her. But when I actually met her in person, she was very powerful, down to earth, very beautiful, and just gave me a lot of positivity. And since that time, I've been taking both their messages and movements, and just been pushing with them. And I give thanks for Zaza Ali, and Professor Griffith lighting my fire at the beginning of my journey.
And I'm sorry if I missed it, but about when was this that you started having this awakening and connecting with these people?
Well, you know what? It's interesting. You had a question I've seen on there, and you still can touch back on it, but it was in 2012. And when I actually had my awakening, coming in 2011, I was dealing with some real bad health issues.
Okay.
Stem from a lot of what I was eating, Also, you know, a lot of the spiritual and physical things I was consuming too as well. And my health was just at an all-time low. And I was going to the hospital, to the doctors, getting a lot of different checkups, a lot of different antibiotics, a lot of different treatments, and was nothing working. It was actually making me a lot worse. You know, like
Wow.
real bad. A lot of just messed up in the head. Just a lot of health issues. So from that time, I said, you know what, I'm not going back to the doctor. You know, I'm not trusting the health system. I started doing research, and when I started doing research, I started learning about all the different environmental issues out here in America, from the chemtrails to the poisons, pollutions in the water, to the GMO foods, to all the messed up chemicals, and they put in the food and all around us. So I said, man, I got to make a shift and protect myself. So I slowly, gradually started to learn information about how to protect myself with stones, herbs, crystals. Started to learn more about plant-based foods and how to eat more properly. And I started to slowly make a shift. And when I made that shift, that's when my whole, you know, consciousness and spirituality started activating. And my life ain't been the same ever since that time. So give shout out to the 2012 shift. You feel me?
Yes, yes, yes. And that's really interesting because 2012 is when the Mayan calendar ended. You know, I don't know if you ever heard, but there was definitely a big scare in that year, you know, because people were concerned that
Mm.
the world was going to end when the Mayan calendar ended, you know, but those folks who were in the know and understood that cosmology, you know, knew that it was the end of the world as it was. Like the 400 years or so prior to that was all about this masculine dominate the environment. You know, it's kind of that what was survival of the fittest type of mentality, you know, and of course we've gotten to the point where we can't continue in that way. So the shift was from that masculine dominate your environment into the more feminine cooperative way of being. So that's pretty cool that you happened that time. I was asking about when you had your awakening though, because you were talking about you first started learning and shifting your name. It sounded like relatively young when you started learning about Archangel Michael. So it sounds like, you know, maybe you weren't full in, but you started kind of having some awakenings long before the big one.
Yeah, I would say shout out to my father, Kevin Everett Holmes, and to my brother, Kevon Holmes. Those are two divine masculine figures in my life. You know, my father and my brother, who helped me to like get a awareness of what was going on the planet. Around that time, before 2012, I would say between like 2008, 2009, 2010, it was a lot of talk and like rumors about like the Illuminati and just all the different the Boule, all these different secret societies and things like that. And so that was kind of like my first bridge and gap between like spirituality, because you know, once I learned that it was a lot of things that we were like taught and lied about in society,
Mm,
like Hollywood celebrities and things like that, I was like, well, you know, because I actually wanted to be a part of that world. You know, I grew up, I played basketball growing up, you know, and played in high school, college. I played a little bit overseas and in China, and
nice.
school for media and for communication. So I actually wanted to take a career in broadcasting, being a sports analyst, or you know, take a career playing professional basketball. But as I started going down the deep rabbit hole of information and knowledge about what was going on in the world and within these industries, I was like, nah, I can't really, you know, be too much a part of that. I got to, you know, figure out something else or something different. So that's when I started to like get involved in some other stuff, you know, more worldly, you know, street things, you know, at that time,
Mm.
you know, selling, you know, drugs and stuff, just really being,
This was after you left China.
yeah, this after I left China, yeah, like, you know, around that time when I was going to China, it was, it was like a shift in my life at that time. I was still playing basketball. I didn't really have like the same passion for it, but I knew it was something I still could do. But I was still trying to figure myself out. Like I said, I wanted to be either a professional athlete, or I wanted to be within the media or broadcasting. And so as I started to see like the differences between the world and what was meant for me, that's what really kind of started to shift me into my spiritual awakening, actually, because I feel like, you know, um, knowing your purpose and being a purpose is something that's very important in this world. And at that time, I didn't have no purpose that I was aware of. You know, I was just kind of just going off and living a regular life of just going to work, you know, working for the system, retire, and you know, in my life, that's it. You feel me? So I was like, man, I never wanted that growing up. You know, I always knew it was something more bigger and destined for me. So after I stopped playing basketball and I started getting to more of a negative side of life, I started going to a mode of depression and a lot of different issues. That's what kind of helped cause some of the health issues I was going through. You know, when you live in a life that's not meant for you, you know, you start to have issues. So after I started making all these different shifts, Spirit just guided me and put me into a space of solitude where I had to figure it out on my own. And I give thanks out. You know, I wouldn't take it back to any other way.
Right. Yeah, I left corporate in 2008, and Lord have mercy, it has been a journey and a half, but I would not be who I am today if it were not for everything that I've been through. And so I'm definitely grateful for all of it. I was going to ask though, and you kind of touched on it a little bit, but in my opinion, when we have a specific purpose and perhaps we're not on the path to that purpose, I feel like, spirit, picks at us, and we have, to me, there's this idea that if there's something that spirit wants you to do that you're not doing, first you stub your toe, then you twist your ankle, then you break your leg, and so on and so forth. And so I was wondering, if there were any other hints that spirit was wanting something different for you before you actually started getting sick in like 2011 and 12. Hey, Dreddy, thanks for joining us.
For sure. Who was that again? You said, Joy?
Dreddy SRS.
Okay.
He's a streamer here on Twitch. So shout out to Dreddy. Thank you for being here, brother. Let us know if you have any questions or anything.
Yeah, give thanks for joining. And you said the question was there any other signs before that showed me that I need to go down a different path?
Right.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like, majority of my life, I had to choose different paths, and choose the right positivity for me. I grew up in, a hood environment, traveled to many different places growing up, and was like in a unbalanced, kind of unstable home. So, in the streets and many other places, majority of my life where, I seen drugs, I seen violence growing up, gangs, seen people, doing, all different type of wicked stuff. And it was my choice as a young boy to, to participate in these things or to go a different path. So at a young age, I already chose a path of like more positivity by playing sports, and I was like, sports is going to be my outlet for me to, get out the hood, for me to do something good for my family. And so as I started going down deeper that path of sports, that revealed to me that was a positive path for me at that time. But then once I got to a certain point, like I was saying, where the passion and the purpose of that started to fall away, then I started going more into a dark space in life. But spirit and signs was showing, revealing to me, I was in different relationships, in partnerships, they fell out quickly, and the partnerships at times would be very toxic. That was a sign that, I needed something, different in my life. It was at times even when I avoided jail, you know what I'm saying? Or at times I could have went to jail for a very long time, based off of just being in the criminal allegations. That was a sign, I was going on the right path, and I was able to, get out those situations. And then the last sign really was like the friends and company that I keep, as I started going down my spiritual path, more of the people that I grew up with and things that I was used to and people that I used to be more around started slowly like kind of trickle off. And it wasn't nothing intentional. It wasn't nothing on purpose. It was just something that spirit just happened to make happen. Like you said, like you forced it. So even to this day, like it's a lot of things that I don't do anymore. A lot of people I don't speak to as much because I'm on my path and purpose. And like I said, it's nothing intentional. None is just sacrifices that we got to make at times in order for us to be at a higher level of conscience or higher level of understanding. And you have to sacrifice a lot on the spiritual path and journey. Many relationships with people, starting off young, being 24 and, stop, going out and partying and, stop like, being involved in society and, in the media and watching TV and all these different things. And, many different things that I was just in a dark, alone space. But within that darkness, I came out, you know, a light. And yeah, I give thanks. And it was just a path I need to go on to get where I'm at to right now. Yeah.
Dope. Dope, dope, dope. So you are coming to the Empower 24 Wealth and Wellness Expo, which is happening here in Denver, Colorado on the 14th, 15th, and 16th of January. And I'm super excited. We got Queen Afua, 19 Keys, Mike Rashid, KT the Arch Degree, who is Dr. Sabi's son, Lizzie Jeff. Like, it's really going to be an epic event. What is it that you're going to be presenting when you come out?
Yes. Yeah, shout out to my brother Elijah as well for
Yes, shout out Elijah.
putting this event together. I actually met Elijah, I believe, in 2021 at the Oakland Psychedelic Conference. And the brother has been staying consistent with being in these different high-level event spaces and networking and showing his power with wealth and health and finances. So I'm very happy to be a part of this event. And a lot of people that's a part of this event are people that have influenced me on my path for some time. And, you know, some I have met and, you know, are familiar with. Some, you know, I'm just getting more familiar with. But I know everybody involved in this event is going to be already making an impact and doing great things on the planet for our people. So me personally, I am a traveling medicine man. I'm also a plant-based chef. I work a lot with different stones, herb crystals, and minerals, all natural plant medicines, fungi from mycelium to psilocybin to medicinal mushrooms, and also yeah, I do different events with my collective. I'm part of art, music, and health and wellness collective called Raw Soul Collective, based out here in Oakland, California. So I will be bringing, you know, all that to the event. I'll be representing my collective, Raw Soul Collective, with my good brother Peace, and I'll be doing a workshop called Based Magik. And Based Magik is a workshop that I created based off my lifestyle. I do live a plant-based lifestyle. I made that transition coming from 2011 to 2012, and ever since that time, I've been transitioning more from being vegan to being plant-based, and, you know, living like an alkaline to like more like a raw diet or lifestyle. So I'm going to be educating people on that, like the lifestyle of being plant-based, how somebody can sustain that lifestyle and be healthy with living a plant-based lifestyle, give people the benefits of like different herbs, stones, crystals. As I was speaking about earlier, let people know about the environmental issues that we're dealing with on the daily and how we can protect ourselves from these different issues. I was speaking about my travels to different places. I have been to China, Cuba, Haiti, Mexico, different parts of Africa, and all these different places I've been to. I went during times of healing retreats. So, like I said, I was on a path of healing since 2012. So it took me some years to fully heal everything. I want to let people know that healing is a process. Like, we can try to do a quick fix Western European way of doing things where you just heal overnight and everything is done and you don't got to bother with it no more. But healing is a lot more than that, because a lot of issues that we have is internal issues and a lot of spiritual issues too that been piling up for some time. So it takes time to clear that energy and fully release it from your system. So, you know, over the last 7-8 years, I've been going to different Afro-Indigenous lands where our people come from, but also where the medicine at. You know what I'm saying? I went to Honduras a few times.
Nice.
Let everybody know the thermal waters in Honduras is the most healing waters on the planet. Very high
Wow.
and minerals, and you can heal yourself just by being in that water. So, you know, I went to Honduras a few times, partaking some mineral baths, to take the herbs and the treatments at Dr. Sabi's Usha Village. Been to Mexico many a times to go to the Mayan ruins and sit in different ayahuasca retreats, mushroom retreats, bufo, peyote, you know what I'm saying? I have been taking different experiences with different plant medicines and different places around the world. So, you know, I want to educate people on that, let people know the importance about traveling to different lands and places. You know, America is so polluted with our environment. The food is got a lot of chemicals and GMOs. So in order for us to really be able to thrive and live, food is going to be the most important thing for us moving forward, and how we grow our food and the soil and the minerals for the food. So it might be good for a lot of us to travel different places where the minerals and the food is a lot better, you know, replenish our body, refresh our bodies, and come back, you know, a renewed person. So that's what I've been doing over the last 5 years. I've been just going down that path And also,
Yeah.
I've been working heavy with plant medicines for like the last 10 years. Been microdosing ayahuasca drops at first. That was my first experience with working with plant medicine. And I didn't even know it at the time. I thought it was just some natural herbal tincture that I was taking.
Right.
It really was ayahuasca, but the brother didn't tell me that at first. So
I think that's you. You got to tell people what's going on. But I hear it, he probably just wanted you to try it. But one thing that I want to say back on the food tip that
right.
bugs me out, because the United States is the first world. It is, one of the richest places on the planet. But
Right.
there is 31 countries that will not accept food from the United States. Like, that is how bad the food is here, so I definitely like to throw it out in those simple terms so people begin to know and learn, and I left corporate in 2008. Probably it was the summer of 2009 was the first time that I had, and at this point I was probably 35. I was 35 years old. I had a full meal fresh from the garden. And that was the first time in memory where I ate some food and was energized instead of getting tired. That's what started my journey. I was like, oh my God, food can do this to you. And so that's when I really started on my journey, at least on the food part of my journey. But yeah, food is medicine. Food sovereignty, in my opinion, is some of the most important things. If people are not paying attention, the empty shelves and stuff that we saw in quarantine is a sign of the future. Like, learn how to grow some stuff. Even if you live in an apartment, get some pots and start playing around, because food sovereignty is important. On another note, though, so I know that Brother Peace is going to be showing a documentary here in January. Were you a part of that documentary? Do you know anything about that? Or
Yeah. Actually was a part of that documentary. Shout out to my good brother Peace from Richmond, California, based out here in the Bay. And he's a psychedelic music artist, also a painting artist. He's a plant-based chef as well. And he's one of the members of our collective, Raw Soul Collective. And I had the honor of going with Brother Peace and our elder brother, Wolf Hawk Jaguar. And we went to Haiti in 2016 to shoot the brothers' documentary, Haiti and Them. And Haiti and Them is a documentary film about Brother Peace, about his story and testimony and his life from growing up in Richmond and being a victim of gun violence. Unfortunately, the brother was a victim of gun violence in 2015. He got shot 5 times, and just a victim. Didn't even know who it was or how it happened. But after he got shot, and I personally, that's when I met the brother. So that's why this story and this everything is so close to me. After he got shot, he had to heal himself naturally because he was plant based, and he was just starting his path of like working with like herbs and stuff like that. So I actually seen the brother get shot 5 times and heal himself naturally just by working with plant based foods and mycelium fungi plant medicine. The film is a powerful film. It's a short film. I think it's like 28 minutes, but it shows our travel to Haiti, how the brother transitioned from getting shot, and this his empowerment story, becoming Brother Peace. So yeah, we will be showing that film at the expo, and we know everybody will enjoy it, and looking forward to seeing everybody's response.
right. How many people are in the Raw Soul Collective? Is that actually like a registered cooperative, or
Yeah,
how
we
many
are.
people were in it when you started it, or when you wrote your bylaws or whatever?
Yeah, I appreciate you asking that. Raw Soul Collective was founded in 2019, but me and the other co-founder, my brother Ajman, we was in communication since like 2018, talking about this potential of doing health and healing events in our community. In our community out here in Oakland, we just wanted to provide services of providing, we was calling them healing parties. People can come and get these tune-up boxes where we put together health and holistic healthcare packages with food. We was giving away herbs and stones and crystals, different natural healing medicines, and we was just giving away to people in the community during 2020 during the pandemic. And once we started doing that, we started to make an impact on our local community, and we started to actually host those events as everything started dying down in the pandemic. We started making more music, talking about health and wellness and spirituality, and we started to be more involved and active in these psychedelic conferences and events throughout the Americas. So Raw Soul Collective started off with 2 founding members, myself and Ajman. Brother Peace was our other initial member. And from that time, we have been working with other people. But we are starting a new membership process this year where we're looking to officially recruit more members to be a part of the collective as we travel to events like this and do our works, as we do our African tours out to Ghana and bring people along on that journey. And the collective is going hard right now. We been active since 2020, so we are an official collective, and we're a part of a bigger cooperative organization that I'm a lead into called Repair Nations. So
Nice.
Repair Nations along with Raw Soul Collective, we are active, we are official, and we're doing the works in our local community.
And Repaired, I think I saw a post today. Repaired Nations, y'all have a retreat to Ghana planned next year, right?
Yes. Repair Nations is a global cooperative network I'm a part of. We do cooperative business training. We open up funds and resources for people to start their business and get funding for their business. We do work-based learning training programs where we teach the youth and young adults how to become business owners and start the cooperative. And we do tours. We do tours to Ghana, West Africa, to do cooperative conferences. We started our first conference in 2019. The year of return was a very powerful year. Very powerful. It was my first time going to Africa that year. So
do you remember what month that was? I'm just curious on an astrological.
It was in October.
Okay.
And around that time, it was at least about half the people on the trip birthday was around that time. I was one of them, So it was a very, very happy time. Everybody enjoyed themselves, but
right.
That was a lot of our first time to Africa. So that's actually how a lot of stuff sparked off with the collective. Me and Brother Osman was in Africa. We was just channeling and just talking heavy about what we can do coming back home and all the impacts we wanted to make. And so we came back. That's what we did. So 2019 was our first time going to Ghana and doing the conference. But ever since that time, the pandemic happened. So we had to do a lot more virtually in 2021 and 2022, 2020. And then in 2023, as things died down and traveling was a little bit more accessible, we finally went back this year to Ghana to do our tour. And so we're looking to do our tour next year in 2024 to Ghana in August. This will be our third time, doing the physical tour, and looking to have as much people involved as possible. Anybody want to come and learn more about African culture, get direct access to different cooperative businesses in Africa. You just want to, feel and connect with the land and the people and the culture. We got it all planned out and mapped out for you. So this is going to be in August this year, Repair Nations Cooperative Conference 2024. And you want more information, you definitely can get the information on my page, but also repairnations.coop online or repair.nations on Instagram.
Dope. So I'm going to switch gears. I imagine this is about to spark a whole nother thing. I'm kind of excited. So tell me what the Universal Mycelium Network means to you.
That Universal Mycelium Network, man,
yes.
That's a deep one. Well, I've been working with mushrooms over the last 7 years now, and when I first started working with mushrooms, it was just introduced to me by a good brother named Sabir. Shout out to my brother Sabir from Oakland. He really gave me the courage and strength to take mushrooms because I always knew about mushrooms growing up. I'm born in Sacramento, California, so it's a lot of hippies and a lot of people out there that was taking mushrooms when I was young in junior high school and in high school, and I'll see them trip out and be acting weird or funny. So I'm like, that's not for me. I'm cool. But as I got older, and especially when I started doing the research about health and wellness and the actual medicinal properties of mushrooms, I was like, what, this sounds like something I might want to do a little more research on and get into. So I did my research for about 2 or 3 years. I was still taking those microdose tonics of the ayahuasca. So my consciousness was expanding already, but I felt like the mushroom was something that would take me to the next level. So in 2015 was the first time I took mushrooms, psychedelic mushrooms. And when I did, that's when I got my first connection to the mycelium network. And I believe that anybody who takes psilocybin mushrooms, as soon as it hits your body, now you tapped into that mycelium network. Because from my research and from my studies, mycelium is not even from the earth. It comes from the universe and from the cosmos, and it's one of the only materials in existence that can survive in any environment, from the earth to outer space. And it was told that the earth came through in a portal, or the mushrooms came through in a portal to the earth from outer space, and it landed on the earth. And once it landed on the earth, the spores and the mycelium started to go through the earth. And when it
Yeah.
started through the earth, it started to create all the life on the earth. You know what I'm saying? And then from there, humanity involved, and all these other animals and stuff evolved. So the beginning of the earth was soil, you know, and if you can look at mycelium, how it works, it decomposes and transforms and terraforms any kind of soil or environment it comes in contact with. So the mycelium network is something that is very important right now, because on the earth right now, like I was saying earlier, the minerals, the nutrients, all the life on the earth is kind of down right now when it comes to its full potential. But mycelium has the power and has the energy to help clean the waters of the earth. It can also clean the soil. Mycelium can eat plastic. You know,
Right.
one of the only things on the earth that can eat any unorganic material. So the mycelium network is also an information network too, because mycelium, like I said, is one of the first living entities on the planet, and its life has been spread out all throughout the soil of the earth. So that network is a communication network, from the soil starting first to the minerals to the trees and the roots, and then from the animals and all the way to humans. So
Yeah.
we all are a part of this mycelium network, whether we know it or we don't know it. And we just getting more familiar with it and back in tune with it as humanity. But as I've been using more mushrooms and working more with them, I know this might sound crazy, but they talk to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And they communicate with deep messages. There's been times that I even on a journey and trip turned into a mushroom and was talking to myself and told myself that I created myself, that I came for experience, that when I eat myself, I come back to know myself, and that I'm back here to uplift humanity and the consciousness on the planet. So once I got that download on my own personal journey working with the mushrooms, I'm like, wow, like, this is a powerful technology. This is not just a plant medicine, and it's not even a plant, it's a fungi. You know what I'm saying? But it's not just a fungi medicine. It's actually something that can help raise our consciousness, get her deeper connected with the Most High, with the Creator, and other aspects of life outside of the earth that we may not understand. So that's what I'm here to, educate people on, is like that connection with the mycelium, with the mushrooms, from the medicinal mushrooms like lion's mane or like turkey tail or reishi, but also to the
Chaga.
like the psilocybin or the amanita mushrooms.
Yeah, it's really wild. Like I have taken mushrooms like recreationally in the past. And this summer, and maybe a little bit earlier in the year as well, like I started getting a lot of messages from spirit as I was working with my other clients that I needed to start to learn to work more with plant medicine and things of those nature. But I also was like, I kept getting the message that it's not time to take it. Then I met Elijah and we went to like a BIPOC psychedelic meeting, and I learned about Dr. Kalindi Iyi, who was he transitioned in 2020, but prior to that, he was kind of like the preeminent, like large dose, like 30, 40 grams dose type gentleman. And that's when I was like, oh, this is what spirit wants me to start working, with these large doses. And really, and at first I thought that, prior to that, I really, like I told you, I read cards. I do a lot of work with helping people to, for lack of a better phrase, terraform their unconscious. And so I'm in the field a lot, and I started feeling all these energies around me. And I was thinking that it was my galactic family, or like aliens, who are coming to help. And so I was like, okay, so I'm going to take start taking large doses once a month with the full moon to see if I can open my consciousness in here. Like I'm a channel already, but I could be a clearer channel, you know, and I was thinking that that is what, you know, the mushrooms could do for me. My first large dose, which was, it was 7 grams, but my sitter made a tea out of it. So someone told me it really only ended up being like 5 grams. But what I got from that very first large dose was, you're free from systems. Like I work for myself. I haven't worked for anyone else for like, oh, it's officially today, 4 years today. I haven't
Wow.
worked. I haven't worked for anyone else. So that's cool.
Yeah.
But the mushroom told me, it's like, yeah, you're free from systems, but are you free from your own habits? You
Ooh.
know? And so that's, and he was like, so you're not free. So I started fasting and I've been and working more with that. My second large dose, this was trippy because I'm in addition to opening myself up, I want to really have a strong relationship with the plant because people are asking me to hold space for others who are taking it. And I feel like I need to know, you know, what might happen, you know, because Dr. Kalindi is talking about, you know, the movie Alien, for instance. He said that that's not from Geiger's imagination. He said he took the mushrooms, went beyond the veil, and saw that that being exists, you know. And so I was like, okay, so I'm gonna see some scary stuff. And I haven't seen anything scary yet. The Alien was actually, like, as far as movies are concerned, one of the scariest things that ever happened or that I've ever seen, you know. I mean, I was a kid when it first came out, so you can imagine how much of an effect it had. But on my second large dose, thinking about that and being concerned, like, am I going to see some scary shit? You know, I got just the thought, it was fleeting, you know, that the alien just needs love too. And
Right.
I was like, okay, you know, so that was a small thing. But the weird thing or the wild thing on my second dose is something kept doing this.
Mm.
And it wasn't, I mean, as far as I can tell, it consciously, it was not me.
Mm.
But something kept pushing my chin to the left. And
It wasn't
it
physical.
wasn't hard enough to be scary, but it was firm. You
Oh,
know, like your mom didn't ask you to clean your nose several times and you didn't do it. So now she's doing it, you know? And so eventually I was like, okay, I'm just going to say like this. And so I was just relaxed on my bed and I just, you know, turned my head to the left, probably for about an hour. And the next day I realized that the tension, I had been carrying a lot of pain and tension in my neck and shoulders, and it was gone.
oh wow.
You know, so I'm like, the plant somehow, whether it's me or not, because that's one thing, like, I don't think so much in terms of galactic family or whatever. I'm clear that whatever beyond the veil is communicating with me, no matter what form it takes, is an aspect of myself.
Wow.
You know, but for the medicine, and I teach yoga, you know, so I know about yin yoga and all these other powerful modalities, but it never would have occurred to me that I could release the tension in my neck and shoulders if I just relaxed with my head to the left for about an hour. The medicine,
Damn.
you know, or the plant taught me that.
You going so hard right now. You going so hard right now. There's so much I could touch on what you just said. I would say, first off, shout out, like you said, the master teacher, Bobby Kalindi, i.e. That was the brother who opened up the veil for me to tap in deeper with the mushrooms. So give thanks to the elder. Yeah, I gotta mention that one. You know what I'm saying? And also, yeah, like you said, what you consume in your body has a lot to do with how we work with these plant medicines. You know what I'm saying? And even though I was already like vegan when I was start taking the mushrooms, even the first time I took it, it told me you need to clean up your body, you need to cleanse your,
Mm,
you need to eat better, you need to eat more healthier. And I was like, damn, like, you know, it was just on my mind. It's hitting me so hard. And so when I heard that message and download, I started to do that. And then also, the more that I took the mushrooms, it would tell me that I'm okay because the deeper you dive in them, the more things will pop up and be revealed to you. But another science that was dropped by Baba Kalindi, one of his students, is Modu. I don't know if you're familiar with Modu Baku, but a master teacher out of Detroit as well. And he speaks a lot about how our gut and our internal system is our inner world and how that affects and brings up everything that comes up in our mushroom trips. It's like whatever we eat before we take mushrooms, or whatever like is in your digestive tract within your bio gut biome during the trip, that's what pops up for a lot of people have a bad trip who might see like some negative entities or things like that. That's just something that's popping up inside of you, you know what I'm saying, that just being revealed to you. So for a lot of people who've been taking mushrooms, different plant medicines, they show people like during ayahuasca ceremonies, and they usually have a protocol. You're supposed to fast, cleanse, do your spiritual practices, get as clean and pure as possible before you take that medicine. So when you take it, you will have those good experiences. So you have those more clean experiences. And for people who don't usually eat clean and like take care of their body and like do the spiritual practice before they take any medicine, whether that be mushrooms, ayahuasca, any of them, that usually might have a challenging trip, especially if you went out all night and you was partying, you was drinking all night, and you want to take some mushrooms the next day, you might not have the best trip. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It all depends on your environment, the settings that you put yourself in, and the mental and physical aspect of yourself that you're taking them, which is a deep one that you was talking about. But also, when you were speaking about like getting in contact with aliens and different like entities when you taking these medicines, now a lot of us may not think about it like this, but I'm starting to get more of awareness that I don't think a lot of these entities are aliens. I'm starting to think they're more like our galactic family, like you said, that's coming to visit us, talk to us, communicate with us, and give us messages as we go on these journeys. If we're ready to receive them, the message might come more clear and you might have a better communication. But if you're not aware of these things, if it's just something new to you or it's not in your consciousness, it might seem kind of weird or trippy. Like, oh man, I don't communicate with an alien. It was sending stuff in my head. It was telling me shit. It was like, yeah, that was just your trip, and that was your higher communication with your higher self, or your cosmic galactic family. And then another thing you said that was very, very spot on is that as you take more of these mushrooms and the psilocybin and mycelium in your body, it can program and heal your body in ways, in phenomenal ways overnight that you may not even was aware of. That same thing happened to me when I first started taking mushrooms. When I first started taking mushrooms, it would force me into these deep breathing techniques that I never did before. I'm talking about holding my breath for like minutes and then breathing out long and hard and doing this a whole breathing technique for like an hour or so. Like, I'm like, wow, I don't even know how I'm doing this or what's happening, but it's like I needed that for my body to get more oxygenated and for me to get more deeper in my self. There's been times, like you said, I'm off some mushrooms. I got back issues for like a couple weeks. I'm off a deep dose. I just lean my back against the wall or on the bed for like an hour or so, just on the trip and meditating. Come up the next day, like you said, man, healed up. And
Yeah.
wow, it's like, you know, these plant teachers, these plant medicines, these plant technology can do a lot for us if we believe in it.
Technology, that's the phrase. That's the phrase. Because Dr. Kalindi calls it an organic artificial intelligence. That's exactly what it is. Shout out to JTray707 in the chat. Thank you so much for joining, sister.
Yes.
She says, I always wanted to do ayahuasca or mushrooms, but I got too much rolling around in my head for that. What would you say to that, Mikhael?
Well, I was going to say, like, you know, a lot of us, and it's something that you touched on too, is a deep one. A lot of us don't get the time and space to really tap into ourselves. You know, the only way I was able to really start going deep when taking mushrooms and when I stopped working on my corporate job. Like when I started using mushrooms, I was still working a corporate job being a property manager in downtown Oakland. And when I started taking the mushrooms, you know, mushrooms, they can keep you up all night. They have you on profound journeys. And then the next day you might feel tired. You might feel like you need to integrate. And integration is very important when taking mushrooms because that's a phase where after the journey has stopped, now you start the journey of your real life. And you have to adapt to all the messages and all the downloads you got and start to make shifts and changes within your life. So a lot of people, just based off of like their family situation, you might have children, you might have, you know, a job you got to go to, you might have other obligations in your life where you might not have the time to even tap in on a deep level with any kind of plant medicine, or even with yourself, to have solitude, to know yourself, to know your purpose, to actually get deep healing. So I would say for anybody who wants to go down the journey working with mushrooms or any kind of other plant medicines, take the time to clear space for yourself. To if you're not aware of it, do the research. I always say do the research first. It took me about 3 years to research about mushrooms before I did them. You know what I'm saying? And once I was confident enough to do it, and I had enough information, then when I took the journey, it was like very, very easy for me. But also research, create the environment and the space for you to do that with. You know what I'm saying? Whether that be you take a time on a weekend, you know what I'm saying, to be by yourself and for you to actually have a journey with mushrooms or like an ayahuasca, or go to a retreat and take the time to invest into a retreat where you can have space to sit with it, and also work with people that look like yourself, who you got as much as common working with these medicines. I know a lot of us, when I first got access to it, I went through, and it's a beautiful soul, my sister Mel, but she's not original of Afro-Indigenous bloodline. So when I was getting the mushrooms from her, it was a deep experience because I was just getting access to them. But over time, I still wanted to feel comfortable with seeing somebody like myself and being able to tap in with mushrooms and medicine in a more comfortable environment. So I would say, try to surround yourself with like-minded people that's from your same, family, bloodline, that can have you feel comfortable in order to take that medicine. And as you take it, tap in with practitioners like myself. It's like Sister was saying, Bobby Kalini online, he got a lot of information. It's a brother named Darren LeBaron. Shout out to my brother Darren LeBaron. He got a lot of information and history on mushrooms. Acacia Lewis. So many people that, is out here that's melanated people who are doing the work, working with mushrooms and plant medicines that people can tap in with. And we create more spaces, more retreats and healing centers for our people too. So if you want to definitely take the time to work with them plant medicines, just go in your local environment and take the time and space and do your research, and it will just start coming to you for real.
Yeah, she says, I have family members who did it as part of their faith and cultures. So she understands the true purpose, which is not to get high. And I hear that. I do. I think it's cool to, do a little bit of recreational, but you definitely don't want to overdo it. And what I would say, J Trey, is ayahuasca in particular, you might have a hard time on the medicine, but if you go to a retreat where they are setting a good container, then you might have to purge, and you might see some things that you would rather not see, but in a properly curated container, you'll be safe and you'll be glad. Even if you purge for 2 days, you're going to be happy that you went at the end of that. So that's what I would say about ayahuasca. And on the mushrooms, yeah, you don't want to take that when you're having a whole bunch of fear. But what I would say is, until you have really had a chance to do a serious detox and some processing around all those fears, that perhaps you want to try some micro doses where you don't get high, but it really can help to slowly bring down the anxiety and bring down the fears and help you to see, what is really yours and what is a part of the collective unconscious, or what is actually a memory from childhood, so you can, try something if you want, and of course, everybody needs to really honor their own place. She says, I'm good for now. My emotions are all over the place, and especially grief. Yes, shout out. I did hear, yesterday that your mother transitioned back in April, so I'm sorry to hear that. And, to a certain extent, everybody's got to honor their own space, and grief, is a hard, kind of low vibrational space, but it's such a necessary space. It is such a necessary space. When I first started the magnetic mind coaching and my practice took off, I had a dope relationship, I was making money kind of hand over fist. And you would think that when that happens, you're just geeks. Like, yes, yes, yes. But I had like a 2-month dark night of the soul. And that's when I started my course, because I understood that dark night of the soul helped me to understand that for many of us, the growth process is a grief process. More than we need more yoga, more substances, more breath work. We got to grieve the past. Abundance is a universal rule that few of us experience because we've been taught scarcity and lack. But more than doing more of good things, we got to open our heart in order to receive. And in order to do that, we got to grieve all the pain and blocks that we have sitting in the heart. So this is probably not for everybody, but for me and most of the people that I work with, grief is really just sitting down and allowing yourself to be sad and really feeling your feelings is the way to clear your heart and open up to receive the gifts that spirit is trying to give you. So honor your grief. It's been a very interesting path that I've been on. Let's see. I wish I could, but I'm also scared of what I'd see. I get it. Someone told me I'd never be the same, and they were right. And I agree with that, but why would we want to be the same if we didn't all have the exact life that we wanted? If you didn't have every fucking thing that you want, why would you want to go back to that? It may have felt better than the grief does, and I get that. But if it's not everything that you want, don't try to go back. Try to go beyond all that. And I promise you that if you are intentional, I am grieving, I am feeling my feelings to clear my heart and open up to be light. On the other side of that grief is something better than the same, So yeah, I'm gonna get off my soapbox and shift kind of into my last topic.
Great upliftment. I appreciate you. I'm getting some good feelings from this too. So good.
Yeah. Dope. So the last thing that I really wanted to talk about, and I think this is something that I'm going to talk to everybody about, because I think that our leadership model. Oh, you're not interrupting, Jay Trey. I'm doing this live so that people can participate. So it's not, talking into a void. I want to, if I can, help the people who happen to be here watching, so it's not an interruption. You actually, in my opinion, made the show better. So the thing that I really want to talk about is I think that we're moving from this, this masculine kind of dominate, survival of the fittest leadership model, to a more feminine cooperative model, and I think eventually we'll get back to the center. I feel like change is often like a pendulum. So we were over here, masculine. And I was hoping that in the Black and brown community, we would, because the middle is obviously men and women leading together so that we have a balanced perspective. But a lot of people have talked about the fact that because it is a pendulum, it's going to have to swing from the masculine to the feminine and then slowly come back to the middle, and I was hoping that I don't want to lead in that way, like I want us to just be in the middle, but I'm just watching so many men not really be able to feel their feelings enough to provide, that center space. Like there's so much of a reliance on intellect and logic, which is dope, but it's a tool. It is not a guide. The heart has got to be the guide. And I feel like men, especially in the United States, have not really been taught to feel their feelings enough to really lead from the heart, you know?
Mm.
How does this resonate with you?
You know, this resonated with me a lot. Um, yeah, ever since I started my journey of coming to spirituality, that's something that kind of helped spark my journey too, was partnerships and relationships. Right before I started to make a shift into spirituality and turning plant-based, I was in the process of being in a partnership, and we were speaking about marriage and having children and everything. But when I did get sick, my partnership started to decline, and
Mm.
we ended up breaking up. You know, so when I did have that situation happen to me, I was very hurt. Um, Also, you know, I was just starting to come to a path of becoming to a different person. So um, it's been, yeah, it's been a challenge with finding partnership, you know. But as I've been traveling and going to other places, I've been seeing different dynamics for divine feminine energy and divine masculine energy on the planet. I would say that right now in the Americas, it's a big shift of patriarchal energy starting to decline and go away, and matriarchal energy is on the rise and is getting ready to go back to its natural order. But it's been so much programming from men and women to be very masculine and patriarchal in nature out here in America.
Yeah, true.
It's more right now that our citizens in America have more access to funds and resources, and they're being more independent, and they have more desire to be amongst around more feminine energy, you know, to grow, to heal, you know, with their sisters. But brothers, on the other hand, um, if you're not like a strong brother, or you're not like a brother that's, you know, into building, you know, resources with your brothers, it might be like you just caught up in the loop of just working for the system, or being involved in like the industry and the entertainment, and like, you know, just the whole matrix of like the programming that they feel like our people are, or what the black man is on the planet. So um, I know that our brothers in America, we want to be taken seriously from our sisters. We want marriage, but it's like the black family hasn't been put on a pedestal for a very long time in America. It's like
Right.
like, you know, most people want to be single. I'm hearing about polygamy relationships, but I'm not really seeing the importance of people creating, establishing strong, powerful black families. And if you look at anything in society, the most successful people and some of the richest people are families. You know what I'm saying? They
Yeah.
strong families that are together and that set an example for what the pinnacle of is in relationships, which is a strong family. So I feel like, you know, that's going to be the biggest thing for us getting back to our matriarchal ways in the Americas, and for the black men and black women to come together, is even our conscious folks, you know what I'm saying, for us to make the importance of our families again. Like, of course, we all want to be free. We all want to be sexually liberated. We all want to be having all these different experiences, because a lot of it's been suppressed. I know I've been suppressed in my lifetime when it comes to sexuality and stuff like that, because it's been so much sexual trauma and within black communities. There's also been a lot of suppression when it comes to black men and black women, you know, dating, taking each other serious, and having children, you know, and the family together. So I feel like that's going to be the biggest thing, when the man starts putting the importance of being a leader and wanting to be the leader for his family. And as our sisters, you know, get more comfortable and get more healed from the trauma that the black man put the black woman through in America, you know what I'm saying? Where she can trust us again to lead her and lead our family, and we can trust each other again as man and woman to come together. That's going to be the biggest thing, you know, moving forward for us, and for the matriarchal too, because, you know, the matriarchal is here, but, you know, she needs her army, she needs her children, she needs her complete tribe and village to back her up, and protect her, and guide us into the new wave that we coming into. So if we don't got strong black men that's standing strong for family and principles and morals, that's for our people, instead of being selfish and just want to be, you know, just have all these different multiple relationships. Like, that's not going to be the end all solution for our people. But it is going to be the black family and the black man coming together, raising their children. And yeah, that's how I feel about it right now. Yeah.
Yeah. Dope, dope, dope. Well, thank you for being here. Thank you, Jay Trey, for being here as well, and supporting. Your energy is greatly, greatly appreciated. And so, yeah, I think that we're probably coming to a close. Is there anything else that you would like to say to anyone who might be listening, Mikhael?
Yeah, peace and love, everybody. This is Mikhael, the Traveling Medicine Man. I appreciate for being on this platform right here with Sister Yuta K. Best. You feel me? And yeah, I'm looking forward to being at the Power 24. If you haven't got your tickets already, or you want to come out and join, please, you can go on empower24.com and also on our different social media links to get tickets. You know what I'm saying? Please come out and support. Yeah, we're doing some great work this year for our people. It's going to be the beginning of the new year, so please keep up with me. I'm at Magik, Magik, Medicine Man on Instagram, on Facebook. Mikhael is Mikhael Garvey Ali, and yeah, you can catch us also on RepairNations.com for our African cultural tours. And we're looking forward to tapping in and bringing our people together and yeah, raising the consciousness on the planet. Yeah.
Yes, ashe, ashe, ashe. Yeah, and it's not active yet, but as soon as I get off of here, I am going to be buying a URL, utaspeaks.com. So there will definitely be links to Empower there. I think the whole Empower website is Empower 24 wealthandwellness.com or empowerwealthandwellness.com. I really need to know that. But yes, thank everybody for listening.